Hello, Roma.
Hi, Jack.
Today we're here to talk about booking flights in our travel basics video series.
This video we're going to give a quick rundown on the best ways to book flights because, to be honest, I don't know why we didn't start with this one because it's definitely the one with the most tips and it's definitely the most exciting one to actually research because there's so much stuff that people wouldn't have thought about.
Where do we start, Roma?
Well, I think the first one that we should start with, which is absolutely fair, and I feel like I might get a lot of Irish hatred for this, but don't always go with Ryanair.
No, do not. What? They don't have movies in their planes over to France.
Yeah, but in fairness, most wouldn't anyways. But it's not always the cheapest flight.
No.
They'll paint it as the cheapest flight.
Yeah, and they would do all their specials to be like, hey, come on in, guys, check out.
2-cent flights. Now, in fairness, those flights tend to be cheaper. If you're buying a flight that's a cent, you're still going to pay the extra 20 quid probably for the packing. So, my piece of advice definitely for booking flights is don't always go with Ryanair because you can guarantee if you're booking a return flight with Ryanair, you should automatically add about €40 onto the price that you're given because by the time you've actually added your bags,
don't they charge you for booking a seat?
They charge you for booking a seat as well. So
instead of a random seat, which is an option, is for free.
Yeah,
they charge you for booking a seat.
And you don't want to get caught in the middle between someone who's going to the toilet constantly as well. Like I always sit at the window because I never need to go to the toilet on the plane. But then I like picking my seat as well. So
Robbo, what airline would you recommend overall, or do you have a specific one? Or are you telling everyone to shop around? Perhaps.
I don't have a specific airline. I quite like Aer Lingus, to be honest. But I've had great experiences with Aer Lingus. Like I flew over and back to anytime I fly over and back to America, I tend to fly with United. But like anytime I've flown with Aer Lingus, they've always been savage.
Okay.
The people on the planes, I've never had a bad experience. They've always been so lovely, so willing to help out. I think they love spotting other Irish travellers as well, which is deadly.
Absolutely.
It's definitely worth checking all the other flights because if they're originally more expensive than your Ryanair flight, chances are they're actually the cheaper in the end because of all the add-ons that Ryanair have been throwing on. My second point is to check websites like Skyscanner. Skyscanner is probably the best one. There's like Google Flights and there's a few other ones, but Skyscanner will actually check all of those as well, which is really, really handy. It'll just give you a comparison and it's much easier to try and actually sort through all the info you need. Like if you've only got a limited amount of days that you can take, you want to get an early flight out and then a late flight back, so you're able to use all the little toggle filters and stuff for that as well.
Skyscanner will be the one that I'd usually go with first.
Yeah, right. My third one, and I think it's what everybody is told to do but nobody ever actually does it: turn off your cookies.
Oh, on your thing?
Yeah,
on your browser.
Now normally you can't turn off the cookies before you go looking at the flights.
Yeah,
but you're better off turning off the cookies when you're finished looking for the flights and before you finish with the tab, before you close it down. Delete the cookies. Clear all the cookies.
May I recommend something?
Yeah.
To that?
Yeah.
Go on an incognito browser.
Actually doesn't make a difference.
Really?
No, well it doesn't. I mean, it doesn't really affect the cookies, but that's more that it won't remember your thing on the system.
Which is important though, because some websites will jack up the prices if they realise that you've been on the website already.
Which is actually following on to my point.
Oh, segue!
Is that when you look at flights like that, they remember that you were there and they remember what dates you were going to fly and where to, and then they'll put up the prices.
Booking.com is notorious for that in particular. I've noticed for hotels.
Yeah.
The prices will change randomly if you're looking on Booking.com.
Yeah. Oh, and they'll suddenly be like, there's only one room left and put you into a mad panic.
No! You have to get on the bad room because you've already been on the website and you have to get it now or it's because it's the last one.
It's going to be gone if you don't get it in the next 5 seconds.
Everyone's in Spain in December.
Yeah. Everybody is on this site right now. There is 16 people looking at this exact hotel room that you want right now.
Free local rooms in your area. Actually, fuck all local rooms in your area.
Yeah, so move quickly. That's the best thing to do is to clear your cookies before you close down the window, but after you've looked for your flights. It just means that it won't remember the information and then send it off to the airline that you were looking at. Now Skyscanner does claim that it doesn't do that, but again, I would take that with a pinch of salt.
Put a big lies. Boom. Lies.
They're not even square.
It's all lies. They're not even square.
The thing that I would follow on from that is don't turn on notifications for flight price changes. That's basically like putting a target on your head and going, hey, I'm looking at this flight.
Overcharge me.
Make me pay. Don't put a notification on for it.
No.
Because you're basically saying, I'm watching this flight. It's not going to go down. It'll go down by like €2 maybe. And you'll
Yeah.
go, oh, a steal. It's actually not. It's their way of watching you.
No, I'd be the kind of person who would go for a flight that's €2 cheaper. But
Yeah, well, we
it's
all
not
would
but it's not worth it.
No, but it's more that the flight will go up 35 quid and then come down and you'll go, oh, I'm going to buy it. But it's actually gone up €33.
Yeah.
I did that when I was going over to America for the first time. I was booking my flights and I watched the price of the dates that I wanted to fly every single day. I ended up flying a week later because I managed to drive the price up so high.
Highway robbery.
It is. So one little fun fact is that you can't book flights over 330 days away from your departure date. So that's like 11 months.
Whoa.
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yeah. That's when I used to fly home from America and want to be booking my flights for the following year already.
Yeah.
So you can book them that early, but like they will be more expensive as well because they'll know if you're booking them that early, then you need those flights. They like to take advantage of you. So you can book them maybe 6 or 8 weeks beforehand, but don't wait till the very last minute either because again, they'll make you pay for your desperation for a day or a flight.
At the end of the day, they just want your communion money.
Exactly.
For your desperation.
And they'll get it if you're not smart.
Yeah.
Avoid the busy days if you can. Flying on weekdays tends to be a lot cheaper, but try not to fly the early flights in the morning because those tend to be the business flights and they tend to be pretty busy. So kind of avoid those if you can. That's why sometimes like midday flights might be better going somewhere. Again, like if you're looking to go away for a weekend and you're flying out on a Friday and you're flying back in on a Sunday afternoon, like those flights are going to be extortionate anyways because it's just a trend. My biggest tip, and I mention it in all my videos, is when you're booking your flights, don't just book them automatically return. Take a look at the one-way flights. We did that for Paris.
Yeah.
I've done it a few times. I've done it for like a few American ones. If you look at the return flights first, and if they don't seem too bad, that's fine. But then take a look at the one-way flights because the one-way flights could be like a 10 or 15 euro cheaper and it could actually work out like better for you.
And the thing is, like, I'm assuming websites have an algorithm set up to be like, well, the return flights will be.
Yeah, and like you can book as well with then 2 different airlines. Like for example, when we flew over to Paris, we flew over with Aer Lingus and we flew back with Transavia, and both had the same protocol. Ryanair is really the only one that doesn't allow you to bring on carry-on luggage without paying for it like extra. And then following on from that is if you are doing long haul flights, try and build the like journey yourself. Don't automatically go for what Skyscanner might be telling you is the cheapest. You could actually be better off booking a really cheap flight over to London. Say if you're flying to Australia, buy a cheap flight over to London and then book your flight from London to Australia. I did it once. I haven't flown to Australia myself, but just in my like pretend planning, I did it before and it knocked like €100 off the flights.
What I will say is from all of these, do not impulse book flights.
No.
Do the research and definitely like keep like a notepad beside you, just being like, well, it costs this to fly to here, but it also costs this to fly to there.
So one point that I always make, and I made it with the accommodation video and I'll make it with lots of other videos I think as well, is sign up to the mileage programs because you can use those miles. If you book flights, you can use those miles then to book flights in the future. It may not pay off for a while, but it will pay off eventually. I've got a couple of different mileage programs, but there's a big group of them that are, it's like Star Alliance or something, and there's a load of different airlines grouped up with that, and you can group nearly all of your points together on a lot of them. Aer Lingus definitely have one.
Yeah. Citation needed for the collection ones, but we'll keep all that information down in the description below.
Yeah, exactly. One thing I think that people don't think about is that when they're flying, you don't automatically just have to go from, Dublin to the international airport in said city. There could be a smaller town outside of the city that you're going to that has an airport that somebody like Ryanair or Lingus or something might actually fly to. Belfast has 2 airports. Yeah, there's a couple of different ways to get around that. That if the prices are really expensive, say for example, if you're flying to Krakow, there's actually a town that's not too far away from it that you could fly into for a bit cheaper with Aer Lingus. And then you need to factor in the cost of like a taxi or a train or a bus into the city from wherever you're flying into. It could end up being cheaper, but it is worth researching it beforehand because you could find out when you fly to the cheaper airport that it's actually going to cost you 50 quid to get from that airport to the city where you're going to, which would end up costing more than the flight to the more expensive airport.
Which happened to me twice in London. The 2 times I've been to London, both times it happened. Flight into London. Oh, great. We have to get a train/bus into the city. And the train/bus costs like 25 to 40 pounds.
Yeah, which is probably more.
Way.
Yeah, probably more than your actual, the more expensive ticket that you were going to buy.
Yeah. So in terms of in Paris, we had to buy the train pass.
Yeah.
And we had that forever now.
Yeah. Now the train pass worked out better in Paris. That wasn't really much to do with the airport, even though Charles de Gaulle is like an hour outside the city, which should be noted.
Like these passes are very important to have, and research definitely do that because the Oyster card for London is brilliant.
Yeah.
Super handy.
Yeah.
But it costs like money that you might not have planned on spending.
Exactly, yeah.
So it's something that you should look into in terms of actual public transport in countries.
Yeah.
Do look into a catch-all use card.
Yeah.
For those different things.
The biggest tip that you'd see on a lot of like TikToks and like websites that do the top 13 tips, like, oh, try booking it on like this Friday before this date. Like, don't bother. Like, there's no point in trying to time your holidays because you need to book them on the like 5th Tuesday of Mercury retrograde at like 7:26 a.m. and you had to have Weetabix that morning. Like, it's a load of shite. Just book the flights. Like, do your research and then book the flights. It's the worst piece of advice. Like, it's coming from the people that are on the inside, but sure, it's if anything, it's just a way to go, oh, you're gonna automatically book it like that now because you think it's a hidden secret, but it's actually not.
I'm manifesting cheap flights this Tuesday. Home.
Yeah, we don't have the little like.
Dum.
We don't have incense to be lighting to go. Here's one that you may not have known, and I didn't know. It's a secret trivia question, but it's not a question. It's just information. There's student deals on some airlines.
What?
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
Like what?
Yeah. There's student deals on a lot of airlines.
Oh my, what?
Yeah, I didn't know either, and I'm not gonna lie, I near fainted when I actually saw it.
That's genuine surprise, not shock, but surprise.
Yeah, I had no idea it was a thing either. They're on all the different airlines. Well, not all of them. They're on a lot of different airlines. There's a website called Student Universe that compiles a load of them, but I think it's an American website. My guess for a lot of these airlines bringing in this kind of thing is because so many Americans have to fly to go to college because they go all over the country.
Yep.
And then a lot of them do years abroad.
Yes.
So it seems to be any research that I've done, a lot of it tends to be for like
the US.
It's US like oriented.
Yeah, okay.
But there's a lot of airlines that do it. Emirates, for example, have a 10% discount on at the moment. Now that's in until the end of June. So at the time of like recording, that's in place. But a lot of them have it as well. You just need to have your valid student ID on it, and a lot of them will also do it for like under 26-year-olds. So like Emirates, Etihad, Lufthansa, there's just loads of airlines, a lot of American airlines, but there is a lot of airlines that would fly to Europe as well, that a lot of Americans would be flying over for doing their like year abroad. I think it is very orientated towards Americans, but then that fact gets lost and we can actually apply for it. A lot of them are like promo codes that you have to put in. It's like student 10 and stuff.
So if you, like me and Roma, like your uni days.
Yeah, it's kind of like uni days, but for flights. And they kept it a secret.
Link in the description below. Yeah.
I think it's safe to say that Ryanair don't have one. They'll probably actually charge you extra for being a student.
Are you young? Give us money.
Yeah. I actually think that they'd use that as like, oh, you're young. Sorry, that's a €5 surplus.
Yeah.
Pay up. That's probably enough tips for now.
That's a load of tips.
That's a lot of tips. Just be smart when you're booking your flights. Don't be stupid. Don't start like waving white flags going, yeah, I'll surrender and I'll pay whatever I have to for the flights. Yep. There's so many things that people do that they don't realize that you're actually like literally telling them that you're watching these flights and giving them permission to put them up.
Yeah.
So just be smart about it. And, you know, happy flighting.
Yeah. Flighting.
Yeah. Somebody will know.
Okay.
If you got that, DM us.
You win absolutely nothing. Except for the fact that we know now.
You win my respect.
We have your username and your personal data. Much like the Ryanair website.
If there's any tips that we forgot that you find really handy, let us know down in the comments.
If you have any hot travel tips, just give them to us.
Yeah. We won't claim them as our own.
No. So, thank you for watching another No Notions Travel Basics video.
Yep.
Stay tuned, because in the future we're going to have lots more of these. Looking forward to getting them out there. Looking forward to hearing from all you guys.
Yep.
Bet this helped. If it helped, and if it did help, tell us in the comments below.
Give us credit.
Don't forget to subscribe.
And hit that little bell button if you want to see us more.
And like the video if you liked us.
Yeah. Thanks for watching, guys.
Bye.
Bye.
We really don't know how to end these videos, do
We
we?
really don't.